and go from there. And that's critically important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we should be all contributing to South Dakota Public TV. I mean, my gosh, the projects they've done recently. I mean, oh, you know, and that's all history. Boy, you know, that stuff can go away so quickly. Martin, you know, and the South Dakota Historical Society. I mean, the stuff you guys all do. Boy, you should be bowing at their feet. They want money. We should be giving it to them. Because I tell you what,
we didn't take it, by the way.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Without people like Mike, you know, doing the announcing, like on King's Report. Just what a great documentary that was.
I think it's interesting you guys are bringing up history, and you know, one of the reasons we chose this theme for this conference is that sports history has, for a long time, been kind of a, you know, the ugly stepchild in the historical world, perhaps. And there has been a resurgence, or not a resurgence. There has been a.
I think that's my fault.
That's your fault. Sorry. I wasn't going there. Sports history is finally kind of becoming a legitimate part of history, and so hopefully this will stimulate people to take on these kind of projects that you're talking about and keep those records and maybe send some of it to our archives. I have a ton more questions I'd like to ask, but I'm going to open it to you guys. So, gentleman in the back there, if you'd like to say if you're addressing it to one person or the whole panel.
To the panel, please. You all have been to thousands and thousands of athletic events. Pick out the one for each of you that is the most memorable.
John, do you want to say that first?
Yeah, John.
Did you see the
You know, I think, okay, let's do rodeo. I'm a farm kid, but 20-some years ago, I saw my first rodeo in Aberdeen. Every year, Aberdeen has a pro rodeo, and we now have all the winners of all past. But anyway, you know, to me, that was one of the greatest things in my life, that first rodeo. I'd never been to a rodeo. I went up to the stock producer, and I said, look, I'm from a farm. I know that's a horse, and that's a cow. That's it. Help me. Help me from there, because I don't know anything else. So, I mean, you know, things like that. Sometimes for me, it's not Don Meyer's night that he broke the Bobby Knight's record in Aberdeen at Walks Arena. You know, God bless him. I love Don to death, you know, but to me, sometimes the big stuff is not, it's kind of the smaller stuff. I think if I went back, it'd be more the smaller stuff.
I can't choose state, the U, some of those games, state Augie basketball through the course of the years. Yeah, you know, a lot of the events, and I've seen some incredible girls Class A basketball in the third place game. You know, I mean, I've really been blessed from that. What I specifically remember, and what I always take from each event, is the fact that the people that are there, whether it's the people that are covering them, the fans that are there, whatever the case may be, I get to be a member of a great fraternity of athletics, even though I am extremely limited in my athletic ability. And I mean, that's really one of the best things that I've got. I remember an event at the, I remember the first time I met Norm Hilson, a long-time, you know, sports announcer for SCSU. I remember things like that, I think, even more than I remember on the court. Although, if I had to answer that, I'd probably go with a State U game. State Augie, actually, probably up at the Frost Arena where David Johnson got hacked and Colin Capitan swallowed his whistle and ran off the floor instead. But other than that, I'm a little unclear on the details. But yeah, that's so. Yeah, the events do run together.
Well, when you ask that question, I mean, I could give you another answer at 11, another answer at noon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million ways to go about it, but the first two things that popped into my mind when you asked that question, one, on the local level, I remember covering the State B basketball championship, the first year boys, it was in Rapid City. And I believe it was one of the first years, not important, but the championship game was between Beersford and Armour. And Armour won the game, but Beersford, as I recall, they had a center by the name of Keith Larson, and he pretty much kept them in the game, and they were leading the entire contest until like the last 2 minutes of the game, and then Armour came back. Maybe somebody here can refresh my memory. But I remember I was covering, my job was to go down. This is in a time when we had a reporter covering Armour and a reporter covering Beersford. And so I went down to the Beersford clubhouse after the game, the locker room. It's the clubhouse in Big League Baseball. But, I went down to the locker room after the game, and I was waiting for the coach, Jim Sorensen. And I thought he was going to come out. So I got a little pushy, and I went in to find him because I was on deadline. And so I walked in the room, and he was just getting ready to address his players. And of course, they were all sitting there in shock that they had gotten beat. And it was a really quiet locker room. And I said to myself, what is Jim Sorensen going to tell these Watchdog basketball players after losing such an incredibly close game? And the first thing he said was, gentlemen, he said, I want you to know, I know how bad you're feeling tonight. But he said, you just learned a very valuable lesson that will help you throughout life. And that is this, that no matter how much you think you deserve something, and no matter how hard you work to get it, you're not always going to get it. And I'll never forget that. And that was the lead to my story. And it was on the front page of the Argus Leader. And I'll never forget that. I've told that story 100 times. And it's a story I'll always tell my kids, you know, when they get to the state, when they lose the World Series. I'll tell them that, you know, you don't always get what you think. You don't always get what you think you deserve in life. And the second thing on the big league level was the thing that popped in my mind is Game 6 of the 1991 World Series. The Twins and the Braves. Kirby Puckett hit the home run to send the game to Game 7. This was before the internet, so I was working at USA Today, so this is before the internet. So I had to work for a Monday's paper, so I didn't really have anything to do. So I let all the reporters go down to the clubhouse after the game and get all their stuff. And then the rule of thumb in Major League Baseball is so you don't miss anything, you always want to be the last guy out of the clubhouse. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, I went back down to the Twins clubhouse. It was about an hour or so after the game. There was 2 guys left in the clubhouse. Kirby Puckett, who was getting ready, and Chili Davis, who was still in his Twins uniform. And Chili said to Kirby, I was just in the background, and I didn't say anything. And Chili said, yelled across the room, thank you, Kirby, for hitting that home run. And Kirby said, no, thank you, Chili. And Chili said, well, what did I do? And Chili said, and Kirby said, remember, he said, I was going to tell you, told you on the on-deck circle that I was going to lay down a bunt against Charlie Liebrand, and you told me to go ahead and swing away. And so I'll never forget that, and I got to report that. But 2 stories have popped into my mind.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jake.
Has style, in your writing style, has that suffered because of the social media?
Go ahead, guys.
You know, when I first started, my leads were on a nice, beautiful, flowery day, so no. I've gotten better, I think. No, but yeah, it does have an effect. I know what you mean. It does have an effect. No, because but I'm newspaper, so you know, I think that's just kind of crystallized. We need to be shorter, clearer, get to the point faster. So to me, probably no, but it has changed us. There's no doubt. I mean, great question.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. You have to look at each event and understand why you're there. If you're writing for an internet, and you're trying to get your story out immediately, in the 9th inning of a baseball game, you have to write what's called a running story, and you have to send your story 2 seconds after the final out. So in that case, you're writing just, you know, pyramid style, and you're writing just the facts, and you get out and you come back. But if you're looking at long-range stories, like sometimes I do with SI.com, I go to a game and I don't have to write for a couple of days, then I can write a little bit more and do more storytelling. So it depends on if you're on deadline or not. But it's always amazing when you're on deadline everybody goes, do you have time to cheer in the press box? And the only guy you cheer for is yourself. You ask, what's in it for me?
Yep.
And I don't care if the Twins are losing. If I have a good lead, I'll take that any day over the Twins winning. So it's a matter of whether it's deadline or not. But social media is boom, 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 quick hits, and then sometimes you get a chance to look at things and be more of a storyteller.